Okay, it's not coming through just quite yet. I'll hit record once it connects.
We are live.
Yeah, it's not quite connected. It's like,
Oh no, I hear it. We're live.
yeah?
Yep.
Well, then let's go. Let's give it a shot.
Let's go.
Well, here we are. Beer's cracked, ready to go.
Cheers.
Possibly streaming live on YouTube.
We are. It's probably a 30-second delay, but
Okay. Oh, you can see it?
it's
It's real?
I'm watching. I'm on my phone
Look at that.
watching this live. It's about 30-second delay, but that's as live as it gets on live YouTube. So cheers.
Yeah. Cheers
First
to
live
that,
show in a
dude.
very long time.
Let's go. So yeah, here we go. Live podcast. So for those of you listening, if you want to watch us and listen live, we'll do this next week. Probably on Thursday though, maybe Tuesday. We need to notify when it's going to happen. But hey,
Yeah.
at some
it's
point,
not very consistent.
at some point we'll connect.
Yeah. We'll find a routine in here, but
Yeah. But
at
today
least we're doing it. Man.
Yeah, at least we're doing it. Exactly. But hey, I am super excited because today we are doing top 5 players in the Premier League for this season at each position.
Yes.
We did this last year. We discussed it, but we didn't really define rules and kind of regulations. So explain to me your thought process on your top 5 per position.
Yeah, to me, it's obviously it's a little bit of subjectivity in here, but more or less, I'm trying to go off who I think the best 5 players are, with some caveats of if they're brand new to the Premier League, maybe a little bit unproven, or potentially coming off of injuries where they didn't play a lot last year. I probably deducted some points. So potentially, if we were going off just pure raw skill talent, I might have some slightly different rankings, but I just think the all-around best proven player by position coming into this year. Maybe a little bit of influence from what we've seen so far to start the year, but as little as possible. More riding the high of what happened in the offseason, maybe the end of last year, how they were playing. The one area where I think there will be, some back and forth we'll have is about actually which position some of these players play. Which can get a little bit murky, especially up top with the way teams are playing these days. So I'm sure we'll have some back and forth there.
Yeah, there's definitely some positions that are stacked. And a few guys that could probably float in and out of 2 or 3 positions. The one thing that I took into account all the things you mentioned, but then I also maybe like 10 to 20% of my picks choices were based on projecting how they're going to go into this season.
Okay.
So, like, I'm kind of calling my shot a little bit on these guys.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's probably, like you said, everything you said was exactly how I did it. About 80% of that, past, present, health, form, and then kind of a little bit of projecting into this season how I think it's going to go for this player. So
yeah, I think I may have done a little bit of that as well.
Because then it makes it a little more fun for me, because then I feel like you're just going to go chalk across the board and be like, oh, these are the best guys for this season. It's like, well,
I think there's some positions that there could be many arguments made. So this will be fun. I have a feeling we're going to have probably half of our picks different. I feel like half of our top 5 lists might be different. So
definitely.
I'm pretty excited to see.
I'm ready to get into it because I think we did a lot of similar picks last year, and I think we're going to be definitely out of order this year.
Yeah. So just to review what we're doing, so we have each position broken down with kind of a standard 4-4-2, but the caveat being there's just one striker position. So we got a right wing, left wing, attacking mid, defensive mid, center back, right back, left back. So both of the center positions, center back and striker, only have one list of 5 players. So in those 2 categories especially, it can get pretty competitive, right? And there could be splitting up some hairs there on those ones. And we also throw in goalie, which I failed to mention, and coach, which will be fun as well.
Oh, you know what? I forgot to do coach, so I'll do that on the fly. So no
Okay,
worries there.
awesome.
Because I'm just going to go off my favorite coaches. That's basically it.
Of course you would.
No, 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 no. I'll try to keep it a little in line.
Nice.
Okay, I just want to preface with goalie that this is purely just based on eyes, and I am not a goalie connoisseur. So
Yes.
these are my picks, basically based off confidence with these goalkeepers. So I think we did the same thing as last year. I had Allison 1, Ederson 2, and you had Ederson 1, Allison 2.
Yep.
Makes sense. And we both have
Yeah.
Emmy Martinez in third.
Yeah.
I
I
think
think it.
I think
I think it's pretty clear.
those three
Yeah,
have to be the
those
top
three.
three in whatever order you see fit. I feel like those are the three best goalkeepers in the league.
Yeah. I mean, and both longevity now for all three of them, as well as recent performance, as well as continued sustained performance at the top level, both internationally potentially as well as at club level. They're kind of in a different tier than the rest of these goalies.
Okay, and then I went Vicario 4 and Pickford
Okay.
5.
Nice. Okay. I went Raya 4, Vicario 5. So I slipped right. And then I have Pickford as my honorable mention. So just outside of the top 5 there. So pretty close, I got to say,
close, yeah.
across the board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Raya deserves it. I think he's played solid enough over the last year that he deserves to be in the top 5. I think at when he was first coming onto the scene and in this competition with Ramsdale, there were some shaky moments, I feel like, maybe just because of the situation going on. But I think the situation with Ramsdale speaks a lot to this, right? They very confidently said, no, this is our guy over Ramsdale.
Yeah.
And that obviously weighs a little bit into it. And I think he's just kind of took off from there. Once he had the confidence, no, the team has my back. I am the choice. I think he kind of displayed that confidence with the back end of the year into this year.
Yeah, he just doesn't give me that confidence. I feel like he's very shaky, and I also feel like he's got a tremendous defensive front in front of him that protects
Good
him
point.
a ton. If you put him on Everton, I don't know if he's going to be doing as well as Pickford's doing, and vice versa, if those roles were reversed.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So that was
Yeah,
my
the
thinking.
situation can play into it.
Vicario, I like his athleticism. I think he gets destroyed on corner kicks and set pieces, but I think that's partially the coaching. And they were so bad at set pieces last year and corner kicks, and he got abused. He's got to get more physical, and I feel like he can, but I want to see, I don't know why they were so bad last year. I can't put my finger on it, but I like him.
Yeah, I think he's at the same level in terms of sort of reaction saves as like a Martinez.
Yeah.
Like you said, maybe some other parts of his game need work, but from a pure shot saving perspective, his reflexes and his positioning on sort of fast breaks and stuff, I have utmost faith in him being in the right spot and being able to make the save. But yeah, there's probably some work in other areas we would like to see.
All right, let's not linger too much on goalkeepers because we don't know what we're talking about. Let's go to left backs.
All right.
I think you know who my number one is going to be. Who's yours?
I made the jump. Anthony Robinson.
No way! Oh, Homer.
Top spot.
I love it.
Hey, I mean, he was legitimately the player of the season on his team in this position last year. He should only continue to improve from an experience perspective. Should only, have that much more confidence moving forward. I think he's shown the potential last year to a large extent of how good he can be. There was a little bit of inconsistency. I think he's just ready to propel forward from this point forward. Like he can really, if he can just get the consistency in his performances, the sky's the limit with this guy. He's still improving. He still has potential to be better. Robertson, I kind of feel like has been at the plateau peak, maybe on the downside of that. Still very good. I have him at number 2 on my list.
Okay. So I have Robinson at 4. He cracks my top 5, but I have him at 4.
Okay.
And I have Andy Robertson in first still. Trust me, I love Anthony Robinson,
Yeah.
but he he's missing the quality service into the box, the touch with the ball. He's gotten a lot better, but he's still not
Yeah.
quite there yet. Athletically, he's second to none, and he goes forward as well as he defends. Like he's not a one way player. He just needs to get those crosses on target a little bit more, and I would like to see some more link up passing, but it's certainly in the range of outcomes for him to get better at throughout the season, and
Yeah.
he's gotten better every single year. And so, like, I definitely think you're right. He's on the upswing where Robertson is kind of plateaued, but I still have him up there. I still think he's super super good. My second left back, I have Guardiola, who's kind of a center back, but is playing left back.
Yeah.
But man, he's solid and strong. I feel like overall he just can really do anything.
Yeah. I think he's probably the single player on this list with the most potential still. Like it's still in sort of the up and coming phase of his career. I have him number 4 on my list. So I was also cracks my top 5. I'm just not sure with anybody on that Pep team, like how much playing time are they really going to get? Is he really going to be a part of serious?
He plays every day. He's always in that.
And that, I mean, it seems like it, but we're 3 games into the season, and based off of last year, I who knows what's going to happen. Obviously, now with what happened with Ake, I think he'll be playing every game for probably the rest of the season now. But when it looks at when you're talking about coming into the season, I just wasn't confident with how much he would be playing. I still think he's a really good player. There's also this whole, like you said, it's like a center back playing left back versus being like a true like left wing fullback. So it's like there is a little bit of difference in the game there versus some of these other players that we're going to be talking about.
Yeah,
I think he's a really good player,
different.
but I like the more true winger backs that crack the list personally.
Fair enough. So then my number 3 is Estupinian, Ecuadorian left back for Brighton.
Totally forgot about him.
I think he's such a stud, dude. I think he gets lost on that Brighton team.
Yeah.
I mean, he shines when you watch Brighton play, but I think because he's on Brighton and not one of these big clubs, you don't think of him. But man, he's so good, and his connection with Matoma down that left side is lethal for Brighton.
Yeah, no, I
like his
like
game.
I said, I kind of rushed through this, completely forgot about him.
No, but that's the exercise, just talking it out.
Yeah. So I'm putting him in my 5th spot. I just subbed him in for somebody.
Oh hell yeah,
he deserves to be there.
So who was your number 3 then?
I have Udogie from Tottenham.
Oh, nice.
Another player with this crazy potential. Ended up getting injured last year, right as he was like on this huge uptick with his performances. Once again, a player I feel like the sky's the limit, almost like a potentially even more athletic version of Anthony Robinson, as we were talking about. So yeah, I'm just like very optimistic about him. He may be at this point in time, from your version of the rankings, technically behind in a Estupiñán or a Guardiola, but he has the potential to make a leap this year, I think.
For sure. I was going to say the same thing. He's just like Robinson, where young, athletic, can defend, can go forward, still a little bit raw, but sky's the limit on what he can become. So,
and he's playing on the right type of team where you're going to grow. Like,
totally.
He's not going to be held in a box, I feel like, of like, no, you must play this way. He's going to have that freedom to kind of grow and evolve and develop, which is a great spot to be in.
No, he's on the perfect team. I like that one. He was probably, I did consider him, but I feel like he's a little too raw at the moment.
Yeah, he's probably an honorable mention for you.
Okay. Yeah, but I like projecting him into the top 5 because he could easily do that this season.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I had Guardiola 4, as I mentioned. I just slipped in Estupiñán. Who rounded out your top 5?
So I had to do it. I had to do it simply because of how the summer went and how the end of last season went. But I put Cucurella.
Okay.
And I don't even like Cucurella. But he played so well down the stretch. he played so well over the summer for Spain, and I feel like he at least earned the spot to be in there because that Chelsea team is a mess, and I feel like a lot of guys fall victim to just being on that team, and it's
Hmm.
such a dumpster fire that their careers get. He came in for what, like 70 mil or something crazy.
Way too much. Yeah, so I was
Yeah,
about to say like that's part of the situation is you could let that interfere with your just general fair judgment of like, is he a top 5 player? It's like I think he's way overvalued. They
yeah,
paid way too much for him. But does that really mean he shouldn't be on the list? Probably not.
yeah.
So
But I had to give him his flowers a little bit because he played so well in
yeah.
the Euros, and coming into this year, if he's got that same confidence that he had playing for Spain and
Hmm.
continues that, then I do think he is good enough to be on this list. So
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a fair way to put it. He just strikes me as somebody that doesn't give me confidence
yeah,
that I'm always going to get a consistent performance. But like you said, he's proven that otherwise over the last probably 6 months,
right,
and then
exactly.
last year, and so it's
But
it's it's
before
a
that, he
it's a
wasn't
worthy
confident, and so
exactly, yeah.
yeah, it was a totally, yeah, exactly. So I'm hoping it's like wishful thinking, hoping he can continue this throughout the season. So we'll see. And then I had one honorable mention of Luke Shaw. I just He's injured so much that it's hard to put him on this list. But when healthy, he's on this list somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's a good play. Yeah, I just kind of discounted him with the injury situation,
Yeah,
how much is
you
he
just
going to
can't
play
do
if at
it.
all?
He
Yeah,
can't play half a season. You know.
yeah. Yeah, and then my honorable mentions. So the guy I bumped off because I forgot about his stooping on was actually Eight Nori from Wolves, who is such a
Okay.
dynamic, exciting player. When he's given the opportunity to go forward and given that freedom, he is exciting as all hell to watch. He's just amazing. When he's able to get into the attacking third. Maybe not the best defensively, but he brings a lot to the plate offensively. And then Matson, who had a little bit of a chance to watch last year when he was on Dortmund. I think a really good, exciting young player. I don't know what to expect this year from him. Obviously, he's going to one of the top teams. How is that going to be too much for him in the step from the Bundesliga? But worthy of a mention.
For sure. All right, so just to recap, my left backs: one, Andy Robertson, Liverpool; two, Guardiola, Man City; three, Estupinan from Brighton; four, Robinson from Fulham; and then five, Cucurella, Chelsea.
And then myself, I had Anthony Robinson first, Robertson second, Udogi third, Guardiola fourth, and Stupinan fifth.
All right, let's move to right back then. Right back was an easier one for me. That left back was more difficult. Right back, I think we're going to be different on this one a lot.
Okay.
Who was your number one?
I went Pedro Porro, number one.
Oh, I like it. Dude, he balled out last season. He is
Hmm.
loving this Ange system. So he's my number four. I have him at number
Okay.
four. He thrived at Tottenham.
Yeah.
And he loves this system. He loves going forward. I dock him a little bit because I don't think he's the best defender, like on ball
No.
defender.
Yeah.
That's not really his game, but in this system, he definitely is a stud. So yeah, I
Yeah.
have him at number four.
Okay.
My number one was Trippier. He's
Oh, still, even
he's
on his potentially his way out of the Premier League.
he's getting up there in age, but
Yeah.
the dude still plays hard. I haven't. He doesn't seem like he's lost his step,
Okay.
and for having your right back be able to do all your set pieces for you is such a luxury.
Yeah.
And he's able to create, he's able to provide for others, as well as I think he's a strong defender. So I think he's got
Yeah.
one more good year in him.
Yeah. To be honest, with everything that was going on with him potentially getting locked out of the team, traded out of the team, I almost kind of discounted him in this conversation. He did pop into my mind, but I don't know. I kind of expect him to not be playing as much as he should, or even be off the team come January. So I kind of set him aside for
Yeah.
those reasons.
No, I just like him and I want him to succeed, and I think he's good enough to be that number one. I do.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. How about number two? What do you got?
I got Ben White, or
Me too.
AKA Ben Orange.
There we go.
That Trump
And
tan
tan.
ready to go. Yeah, he's just solid, dude. He for
Yeah.
some reason, probably because his name is Ben White. I don't know. He just gets lost in the mix among all the England right backs. But the dude's just good. He's just a good, solid player. Like
Yeah.
he just does exactly what he needs to do, and he maybe doesn't do one thing better than anybody else, but he's good at basically everything on the field. And
Super professional out there,
yeah,
like I think he's talked a lot about how like he doesn't really like soccer that much. Like it was it him, he was like, I don't like watching games, like he doesn't watch other games and stuff, but he shows up and he puts in a professional shift every day, every game, every day. It's just like you said, it's so consistent, and just he gives you everything you need from
yes,
that position.
yes. He kind of plays like how you just described. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
almost uninterested at times, but
Yes,
like but full energy while being uninterested. It's a weird way to describe it, but it's
it could easily work against him, but
yeah,
it doesn't seem to affect his play.
yeah. No, exactly. Yeah. But I feel like he would have your back on the, even if you're like, this guy doesn't necessarily like the sport as much as I like it. Like, I love this sport, but still, I would be 100% sure this guy would have my back on the field at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
he cares for the people and the team, even if maybe not the sport as much as some other people.
I bet he's down to go out after the game too.
100%.
Yeah, he
I
could.
guess he's a big into gardening too. That's one of
Oh, my
his
guy!
hobbies.
I just
Yeah.
watered all the plants a few hours ago. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So if you remember the famous Gareth Bale, it was Wales Golf Madrid, right? The
Yes.
flag.
Yeah.
What they're saying for Ben White, because he obviously doesn't the whole situation with England, but supposedly it's Arsenal Dubai gardening is his flag. I guess he loves going out in Dubai, so you might be onto something.
It's so weird to me that like that's the place where Europeans or like Northern Europeans go. Like, why would you go to Dubai? Like, why
Yeah,
not go to
don't get that one.
Italy,
Mhm.
Croatia? I don't know. Like, why Dubai? It makes it weird to me.
Yeah, it's funny.
All right, so we both have Ben White at 2.
Yep.
Number 3, I put Kyle Walker. Also getting up there in age.
Yeah.
Also solid. I feel like he's still got one more year in him. He's still so fast. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I once again a player I completely forgot about.
yeah.
He's
I feel like
he's not gonna go. He's gonna go on my list. He's not gonna be third.
yeah, I do feel like he lacks the consistency that maybe a
Hmm.
Ben White has, but I think his peaks are better than Ben White.
Yeah.
Where
So I just like on the left back. I'm glad I'm talking this through with you. I slipped him in the fifth place and
okay,
knocked somebody off. Yeah.
okay.
So he deserves to be there, like you said. But you're right. I mean, he's at this point in his career, he's probably not bringing everything to the table you'd like to see. He could still put in a very good performance. He's still very solid. Still a team captain, right? For the squad. So yeah, he deserves to be there.
Yeah,
I
and
have
yeah, what do you got?
Alexander Arnold in my third slot.
Nice. Okay. He did not make my list. I did not forget about
I
him.
don't think so. I didn't. I wasn't expecting that.
I'm the lowest on him than like anybody. There's like he's tremendous at providing quality service and free
Yeah,
kicks. And to me that's the end of the conversation for
he's probably
me.
one of the most skilled passers, like technically, like
Yeah.
with pass, like. But I hear you. It depends what you prioritize.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not gonna dog you for it. You know how I feel about him. I just he didn't make my list, but so he's your 3?
Number 3, yeah,
Okay,
on my
so Kyle
list.
Walker's my 3. 4 is Pedro Porro for me. He's your 1. So who's your 4?
I have Reece James here. So this was
Okay.
maybe a bit controversial, but obviously so many injuries.
Mm-hmm.
So you're weighing how much is he going to play versus how good he is. I still feel like this is a good spot for him. I think he is that good of a player when he's out there and healthy. If though we go through one more round of like, oh crap, he's out 3 months, it might be time to be like, one step too far, you're off this list. But I still, hold out hope that he got the surgery last year, which hopefully will help clear up more of the serious injuries with the hamstring. But yeah, he gets one more shot in my book before he's off this list.
I want that to be the case. I hope it is. But the same way I left Luke Shaw off, I put Reece James as my honorable mention because he just
Yeah.
doesn't play. He can't stay on the field. I almost put Malo Gusto on here, his backup, because he balled out last year, and he could
He
easily.
was in my fifth spot just now until I put Walker on.
I mean, if I'm Chelsea and Reece James just is never healthy, just sell him. You have
Yeah.
a good player who can play, who's like 21 years old.
Hmm.
Uh, He's just eating up space. Like he just never is available. It sucks because he's so good when he's healthy. When he's healthy, he's better than all these guys we just talked about.
Yeah.
It-
100%.
Which is
Right there with you.
which is a shame. All right, my last one, number 5. You're gonna love this. Diego Dallo for Manchester United.
Okay. Okay.
I used to hate this guy. I used to think he sucked. Hate's a strong word, but I used to think
Yeah.
he sucked.
Yeah.
But more and more towards the end of like the second half of last year, I was like, dude, he's showing me some stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I'm projecting a little bit, but I think with the coaching stability, so to speak, having the same coach for 2 years in that system and coming back, this is a little bit of projecting, but I think he could have a better year. Especially
Yeah.
like they were a mess defensively last year with all the injuries and all the
Hmm.
circus going on. If they can just stabilize a little bit better,
Yeah.
I think he could do well. So
Yeah. So he made my honorable mention. I really do like him. He was obviously in close contention for making the list. Several things I really like about him. I feel like you could tell on the field he really cares. Like he plays with
plays hard.
passion.
Hmm.
He plays hard. He wants like you could see when the team messes up or whatever, like he's just so upset. Like I love that about it. I also love the flexibility. He can go over. I think there was a game already this year where I think he started at left back because Luke Shaw was hurt. I think shifted over into center back for 10 minutes and then played right back, like all of the same game. So like flexibility, I love when there's players that can do that and they're willing to do that and they're fine doing that.
Yeah.
And it's a huge glaring weakness the second they do it. They do what they need to do. So I think it's a very deserving spot to be. There's just too many players in this position.
I
I
know.
feel
Who
like
was your 5th?
I moved Walker into
Oh, you moved
fifth.
Walker in there.
So
Well, who'd
I
you
moved
pop off then?
Gusto. I moved
Oh,
Gusto off
Gusto.
out
Yeah.
of this spot. Yeah. And then the other honorable mention I have besides Dallo, also from the same team, this one very heavily weighted from what I've seen so far this year, but Mazraoui, how the fuck do you say his name? Mazraoui.
There you
That's it.
go. You got there. I didn't even help you.
Figured it out. Mazraoui, he very much in the same vein of Ben White, just so solid on the ball, so like just not making a mistake, just up to whatever challenge is in front of him. Like I just feel like very dependable, adaptable, a guy I would love to have on the team. So I think worthy of a mention, but not cracking the top five.
All right. Let's move to center. Okay, so real quick, yeah, let's recap actually.
Yeah,
My top 5 right backs: Trippier, Ben White, Kyle Walker, 3 English players. 1, 2, 3. And then Pedro Porro, and then Dallo.
and I have Pedro Porro number 1, Ben White number 2, like you, Alexander Arnold 3, Reece James hanging on to 4th spot, and Kyle Walker 5th.
Yeah. I saw a funny post. Well, it was only funny to me. It wasn't supposed to be funny. But it was the guy outside the stadium asking Liverpool fans, would you sell Alexander Arnold to Real Madrid for 50 million? And they're all like, "Oh no, that's my guy," you know. Oh man. He's like, "Okay, 60 million, 80 million." He's like, "Oh, you're killing me." Like, "Oh." I totally get it. If I'm a fan, like I want to keep him
Yeah.
because he's like, I don't dislike Alexander Arnold, but I think he's vastly overrated. If you can get 80 million for him, oh my god, I'm sorry, love you, but you got to go.
Do that in a heartbeat. Yeah.
Okay,
100%.
center backs. There's so many I wanted to put on here. I wanted this to be 10 deep.
It's tough. Both the center back and the striker's real tough because you only get one spot for what's classically two players, right?
Correct,
It's difficult.
correct. And I almost cheated and put Gabriel and Saliba together, but I couldn't. That was cheating, so I didn't do that. My number one, Virgil van Dijk. I still think he's the best. I still think he's the best.
Wow.
Until I see him visibly different, he's going to be my number one.
Well, that's where I mean, I feel like we have. I mean, obviously it's hard to not get skewed because he played probably the single most perfect season of a defender ever, right? What was that, 4 years ago or something?
Was on the Ballon
So
d'Or.
you're always going to be compared to that, right? But I do feel like he's taken a step down from that level.
Sure,
I have him in at number 2.
Okay, big step down. He's still got it. He can still hang with
He can.
whoever.
And to me, I think like athletically, skill wise, I don't think he's the second best, but the experience he brings to the table and everything, he still deserves to be in there.
He knows exactly where to be. And we'll talk about Saliba and Gabriel, but like those two guys are both studs.
Mm-hmm.
Virgil van Dijk has never really had that stud partner. He's always had like a carousel of good versus bad versus, I don't know, maybe even Joe Gomez if there's injuries. Like he hasn't had a consistent running mate that is at his or near his level, and yet he just carries that. I feel like he's just the flagship of that defense.
Yeah, it's true. It's a true statement. I mean, the best he ever had was probably Lovren, and then he left, and it was at the end of his career, right? And that was the year they won the Premier League. So yeah, he's never really had any sort of stable, consistent partner.
Yeah,
so
it's like Matip's been okay, but he's not great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kwanzaa, we'll see.
Yeah. So I went Saliba number 1 overall.
All right, Saliba's my 3.
I've been on him since last year. I think this is a mix of like he's still getting better, right, and the sort of the potential side as well as at this point he is more of a proven commodity.
Mm-hmm.
I think I might have had him at 2 last year. Actually,
you did. You were high on him. You were early into the Saliba game.
Definitely projecting a little bit into the season, but it worked out. I mean, he came out he's probably the most valuable center back in the league. Let me see if I can check that.
Probably, yeah. As you check that, I mean,
yeah, he is.
My top 3, I feel like, are splitting hairs. My top 3, I'll just say, I have Virgil van Dijk, I have Ruben Diaz from Man City second, and then I have Saliba third. But I think those 3 are just a tier above the rest of the center backs.
I disagree.
Okay, so who's your 3?
I have Ruben Diaz 4th.
Okay,
I think he's up there. I personally feel like it's a tier of 4.
Okay.
I think Diaz is very good. I feel like, whether it's a media thing or whatever, I just feel like he kind of slipped off the radar a little bit over the last year. I think it's partially a factor of Pep's style of rotating people back there, that sort of thing. So, and he's maybe not as flashy or as sort of media, centric as some of these other players like a Van Dijk, but I put Romero in there at number 3.
Okay. So I have Romero at 4. All right. So our top 4 is the same, but different.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the only reason I think Romero is just a tier below those guys is I can't count on him to not do something stupid during the match and get a red card or a second yellow. Like he is that guy. And I feel like the other shoe is going to drop at some point, and I can't fully trust him, but he is a great defender.
Yeah, I think that's a fair comment. I think that's what gives him that little bit extra though.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
that edge. You need that.
that's what gives him that, like in my eyes, like that's what gives him that little bit more you'll get than somebody like Diaz. If you want something solid as all hell and a leader, from like a consistency, dependability status, Diaz all day. But if I want on any given day, I know this guy is not scared at all to go up against anybody in the world and think he's better
Hmm.
and gonna bring it every single second. Give me a Romero. Like if you need that little bit more, I think he's your guy.
But see, that's why I like Virgil van Dijk because I feel like he has that. He's got a little edge to him. He will
Yeah.
body anybody. He's got a little fuck you in him, but yet he's not going to blow it for you in
Hmm.
some stupid like way. And I feel like Romero
Yeah.
might. He's very
I
much
think
like
you're 100% right there. I think Van Dyke's got way better head on his shoulders.
exactly. So that's why I have him above.
Yeah.
And like that's the
Yeah.
only knock I have against Romero. Everything else is great.
Yeah.
Everything else is great.
Yeah. So I'm curious, where'd you go with the fifth then? If you think you've taken a step off those
So
tiers?
this is a little bit of me projecting a little bit and also just being way high on this player. I feel like he doesn't get any love. I think if I gave you 5 guesses, you wouldn't guess this player. But I think we're going to see him or hear about him a lot more this season. And
Is he
that's
young?
I actually don't know his exact age. But
Colwell?
no, it is Dutch center back for
Oh,
Brighton,
Van de
Van
Ven?
Heck.
Oh, Van Heck.
No,
Okay.
Van de Ven. Yeah, you're fast. Good job.
Yeah.
Nah, Van Heck is better than you. He is so good. I am also skewed because when we saw him in person at Tottenham, he
Probably
probably
played the best game of his life.
probably had the game
Yeah.
of his life. Yeah, but I had liked him before that, but being able to see he was everywhere that match, and he had such a good eye and feel for the game, where to be, where to position, when to attack, when to defend. He was great on set pieces going forward. He was great on defending set pieces. He cut off some huge counterattacks for Tottenham. I feel like physically, athletically, he's got every tool you need. And combining that with his ability to see the game, I think he's going to flourish. So
Yeah. No, that's a good call. I think it's a little bit of a reach, but
definitely a
I
reach, but I'm
I
calling my
I think
shot.
for all around, like he is not scared or shy to go forward. Like so, if you're talking about all around, like can give you something on the other end, he's probably up there. For like both sides. Maybe
Mhm.
not pure defending, but both sides of the ball.
Yeah,
I like it.
I like him so. It's a projection for me.
So where I went was actually a player that I hated coming into the league that I had no faith in. Also had a ton of injury history though, so therefore he's down on the list. But Lissandro Martinez
Oh
has
yeah.
won me over 100%. I don't know if you remember. I was like, "There's how the hell is this guy going to stand up in the Premier League?" But
Yeah, he is
talk about a
small.
mentality. Talk about somebody that you want to have your back. That's not scared of anybody. I love it. I love watching it play now, and it's not something I would have said a year ago.
Yeah. That he's good, man. He's really good.
Yeah,
And
he's
talk
good.
about an edge. The partnership of him and Romero for Argentina
Yeah,
is incredible. Having those
yeah,
two guys because they both are animals back there.
yeah.
Awesome. Like
Yeah, great. They just feed. It's perfect, man. Feeding off each other. Just
such a good
love it.
combination. He's quick and fast, and he can handle the smaller players. Romero can handle the bigger players. Like they're a perfect complement.
Yeah,
I like that pick. I like that pick. There's so many other center backs we didn't
tough.
mention. Like
I know.
Gabrielle,
Yeah,
we
I had
didn't mention. I had him on
I
my
had
top five
Gabriel on
last
my
year.
honorable mention. I had Mark Gahey, Crystal Palace as
Mhm.
well. I think two very deserving people. It's tough with one slot of five.
Dude, I thought
To
Shar balled out last season. Like
mm-hmm.
he could be in the conversation. I think Dunk even Brighton center back is solid. Definitely not in the top five, but
Yeah,
there's so many good center backs
Colwell,
in the
yeah,
league.
really young, really good. At this
Hmm.
point, it's,
Yeah.
there's some good defenders out there, definitely.
All right, left mid. This one was fun for me. I had a little bit of fun on my rankings. I think we have to have
Yeah.
the same.
Well, I think this is where we're going to start potentially getting into what position do people play,
Yeah, it's tough.
and that might be a little difficult to navigate, but we'll work through it.
So I put Son as my number one for left mid.
Same.
Okay, I think that's the obvious choice. The dude's so good. If he
Hmm.
didn't play on Tottenham, he would be talked about differently, I think.
Yeah, he's unbelievable,
There's
man.
nothing else to say. He's so fucking good.
Yeah, yeah, we've said it all.
He is world class. Number two, I can't quit it, man. Matoma is my number two on the left mid.
Nice, I love it. As he slipped down to number 3 for me, but
Okay. He did get
yeah,
injured last year.
he did get injured. Maybe a little bit under the radar, but yeah, I mean, I loved him so much last year. We talked about it a lot. It's a great pick. I went Luis Diaz
He's my number three.
at number 2 here. I
Yes.
think he's at least coming into the season had a little bit more. Matoma coming off injuries, tough situation, but Diaz has brought it this year so far, and he's
looking
living up
sharp.
to the hype.
Dude, both of them are so good on the ball, so difficult to
Yeah.
contain. I feel like anytime Matoma gets a player one on one, he's either going to create a shot for himself or someone else. There's
Yeah.
there's no other alternative. Like the defender's
Yeah,
not
it's
going to win.
it's so interesting to be like, because both of those guys kind of in the same way, where like somehow I feel like they still fly under the radar almost in terms of like you need to watch out for this matchup.
Yeah,
It's always they're never. I feel like it's never like that is the matchup. Yet that's always where the biggest threats are created. Always,
I know.
like
Yeah,
they just create so much havoc for the other teams.
I think the injury for Matoma last year kind of derailed like some a strong season where he can get some
Yeah.
big total numbers by the end of the year and have people talking a little bit differently. But
Hmm.
yeah, man, he's so good. All right, so we have the same top three
Yep.
basically. Four, I don't feel confident about this, but I'm putting kudos.
Oh,
Kudos. Kudos? Kudos?
kudos. Kudos was a really good snack back in the day.
Oh,
Discontinued.
still good.
Discontinued though.
Oh, it's
Unfortunately.
gone?
Yeah.
Dang. I
Shout
remember
out
those.
Kudos.
Yeah. Uh, I this is a wishful thinking projection pick. I think he is so dangerous when he
Mhm.
gets the ball. And he's been playing on that left side under this new manager.
He has. Okay, that's where I didn't even think of him in this
Right.
spot.
That's where I kind of got some leeway because he's been there a couple games. And he will float and kind of switch sides here and there. So I used a little bit of leeway on that one. But I want to see him thrive this season, getting a full season because he came in as a transfer last year. And I think he can do it. And this West Ham team needs him to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he definitely was in the conversation. I was thinking of more on the right where there was even more competition. And
Yeah.
so he didn't even make my honorable mention. But yeah, I mean, if you slide him into that side, I think it's much more realistic to have him in the combo in that top 5 list
Yeah.
on the left side.
Who's your number 4?
So I went Anthony Gordon, number 4.
Yeah, I thought about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it consistently yet from him, but man, he's got everything he needs.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like another player that like I was never kind of similar to Lisandro Martinez, where I just had my doubts and I was like, he's whatever.
Yeah.
And he won me over. I mean, he's played well enough. He's lived up to very difficult, stressful situations when a lot of players would probably fold. And he doesn't look it, in terms of having that like steel mentality, but he lives it. Like he shows it when he's out there on the field. So I think he's a great player. I'd love to have him on my team.
No, it's a good pick. And he was definitely on my list. I feel gross about my number 5,
Mm-hmm.
because of how bad it went last year. But I still have Marcus Rashford in the fifth spot.
Okay, okay. I don't blame you there. I don't blame you there.
He is still so talented. I just think the
Yeah.
coach needs to get his head on straight, and he can be. I think peak Rashford is just as good as any of these guys on this list.
I hear you from the perspective of I actually drafted him on my fantasy team, hoping that he'll get back to
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about, right? I mean, there was a point in time where he was the single best player. If you needed somebody to create a goal on their own, like to and finish it, like he was the single best player that you could ask
A
for.
lot of times he had to do it on his own.
Yeah, and he was doing it
Yeah,
consistently,
he
right? So he
was.
has that in him. He just has to find a way to get back to that. Like,
I
come
would.
on, we can do this.
That's a guy I feel like he needs a change of scenery more than anybody else. Like just
Yeah,
put him on. I don't know. Name a team. Like I feel
yeah.
like he could. Not Real Madrid. Somewhere he's going to start every game.
Chelsea.
No, no, don't go to Chelsea. Don't go to Chelsea.
Yeah,
But if he went to like, oh my God, if he went to Tottenham, pretend they didn't get Solanke and Son was just going to be the number 9,
striker. Yeah,
and Rashford came in. Are you kidding me? He would
yeah.
dominate, dominate.
I like it. Yeah,
So yeah, that was my 5. What
I
was
like
your
it.
5th?
I don't know what this guy's freaking position is, and I know for sure with the other players on his team, he's not going to play the attacking mid role, but that's probably where he's listed. But I put Phil Foden here.
Okay, all right, fair enough. Yeah,
He plays on the right, coming in on the left. He plays on the left,
he
coming
does.
in. He plays attacking mid when De Bruyne is not there, but De
Hmm.
Bruyne is there. So this is where I decided to slide him in my 5th spot.
Yeah, I have him in my right mid category, so we'll talk about him later for me. But yeah, I am in agreement with you about where
Yeah,
you put him in comparison to these other
good.
players.
Yeah, no, I like the other players more. I think
Player of
obviously we have to
player
talk
of
about
the
the
season, Phil Foden.
get the fuck out of here, Cole Palmer all day. Uh, I feel like
Rodri all day. Fucking won the Ballon d'Or, couldn't win player of the season. Bullshit.
I don't know, Cole Palmer, dude. What Cole Palmer did at his age, unreal.
In the situation he was in. Whew.
Unreal, man. Yeah, but no, that's a worthy argument though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Phil Foden. Obviously, we talk about the English media bias, and he is probably the biggest case of every player. If we talk about with Alexander Arnold, Reece James, Harry Kane, all these players, I feel like he is the epitome of it, though. Like where he's put on this pedestal that
Yeah.
maybe doesn't necessarily line up with how much he plays or how much he plays impactfully
Hmm.
on a team just because of the raw skill he has that sometimes comes out and is incredible.
Yeah.
It's like that's not denying that, right? But
Correct.
I would rather have maybe I would put him above Gordon, but I'd rather have those other 3 ahead of him for sure.
I think I definitely would put him above Gordon,
Yeah,
but I wouldn't put them in the same position.
exactly.
But you're right. I would put him above Gordon, but I would still take Son. I would take Matoma. I would take Diaz. And people would probably think we're crazy for saying that. He's super good, don't get me wrong, and I like him, but he's not. I don't think he has a peak like those guys do.
Yeah. I just wanted to shout out my honorable mention, Leandro Trossard deserves a
I
starting
wanted to.
role on a team.
Yes. Okay. So this was my thing. I had Martinelli and Trossard together, and I feel like both of them were keeping the other person off my list.
Oh, true. Yes. But I put Trossard ahead of Martinelli.
I don't know why Trossard doesn't start. Like, I feel like he became too good at being the super sub that would come in and score a goal. It was like, dude, just play him the whole game.
I mean, me personally, I feel like it gets back to it's almost like, to be honest, the same conversation you could have with Gordon and Foden. is the players like Martinelli and Gordon are true wingers that will run to the line, get crosses in, get cross after cross in, will attack with speed. It just like, that sort of traditional winger style where
Mm-hmm.
you have a Trossard and a Foden that are much more skilled technically, that will dribble you, that will cut in way above the box if they need to, right? It's almost like two different styles of playing the position. And obviously, the style that you think is the right way to play, you might value a little bit more. And I personally like what Trossard brings to the table more than Martinelli, but Martinelli probably plays more like a true winger than a
Yeah.
Trossard.
Yeah.
Trossard is more of this new age blend winger, false nine, attacking mid, whatever you call that guy. That's kind of what he is.
I was telling my coworker who's a big Arsenal fan, we were talking about it, and obviously I was shitting on Hazard, or not
Yeah.
Hazard, Havertz, uh, and I was saying like I don't understand why you don't play Martinelli and Trossard together. Like just play Trossard
Trossard up top or
in
something.
the Havertz role. Like
Yeah.
the dude is a finisher. Who cares if he's small? Like he can finish. He knows where to be. That's the thing. He always positions himself in a place to score goals. That's what makes him so good. Like he knows
Mm-hmm.
where to be and he finishes every time. He's nasty. He's much like Diego Jota for Liverpool,
Yeah.
who has been playing number 9 for these guys this season. And I feel like that is what Arsenal needs to take them over the edge.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's like one of those things. It's like it's risky to do.
why? Why
But
is it risky? What are you risking?
I mean, you're risking this media scrutiny. That's what I mean.
That's what you're
It doesn't mean
risking.
it doesn't mean it's the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
So it's just this weird situation. But I hear you. Like I would love the idea of that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I
But
feel like
get
they
them
would
both.
be so much more dangerous because he's just a good player. So yeah,
Yeah.
Martinelli and the fact that Trossard is playing so well, I feel like is hurting Martinelli because he's clearly pressing when he's in there and like trying to do too much because he's got Trossard breathing down his neck, like getting prepared to be subbed in. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right, right mid. I feel like this position is super deep in the league.
Yeah.
We have
But
to have
also
the same
one-
number 1.
But
Hang on.
also one that's tough.
Yeah.
What position do people play?
We could have a lot of differences of opinion on
Yeah.
this one. Real quick, I just want to recap the left mids. I have Son, Matoma, Diaz, Kudos, and Rashford.
Okay. I have
Kudus.
Son,
I keep doing
Diaz,
that.
Matoma, Gordon, Foden, no Kudus.
Kudos.
Oh, Mike.
I keep saying Kudos. I'm looking at it and I still say it wrong.
Kudos.
Okay, right mid. This one was fun for me because there were so many options. But I feel like Mo Salah has to be number 1.
Number 1, man.
Has to be.
All day of the week.
Number 2, I think this is where you can fluctuate. I put Saka. Arsenal.
Saka.
Okay.
Me too.
All right. Number 3,
Cole Palmer.
Cole Palmer. Same. Let's
Nice.
go.
Let's go.
All right. Number 4, this is where I know we're different because this is where I have Phil Foden.
Okay. I have a different Man City player here. I have Bernardo Silva.
I thought about putting him next.
Yeah.
Okay. I also thought about putting Bernardo Silva in the attacking central mid because I feel like, but he has been playing on that right side more often. So he was a
I
difficult
feel like
one.
Silva always plays on. I feel like Silva always plays on the right. Foden's the one that more often moves around to center or left or wherever.
Yeah, it's a good pick. He was in my consideration, but yeah, I put Foden there. Who's your
All right.
5th then?
So this is where I step a little bit out of the like proven huge name commodity, but just raw talent.
Tell me we
Pedro
have the same
Neto.
guy. Oh,
Number 5.
nice.
Yeah.
I think he's actually been playing on the left, but yeah, I'll give you that one because he can't
Playing
play.
on the left now. What's
I
going
saw
on,
him.
man?
At least I saw on the lineup card he was on the left because I didn't
Okay.
actually
I'm
watch
still
the.
picturing him in a Wolves jersey. So
Yeah, coming down that right side. No, I love it.
Mhm.
I love that pick. I put Leon Bailey as my fifth. Aston Villa.
Okay. Fair.
Dude balled out. I've been I've been on the Leon Bailey train for a while, and I feel like he's finally showing how good he is.
Yeah, I think he's one of those players that's just like feast or famine. Like he can be the best player in the league one day,
hmm
and then the next weekend not even show up. So to me, the inconsistency is
But he's
that's why I
finally
kind of
he's
he popped
finally
into my mind.
yeah.
But I left him off.
He's reached a point with his club where he's playing every day. He was a Trossard type player as far as
Yeah.
play time goes. And now
Mhm.
it's like he's on the lineup every day. And that's what I think he needs.
Yeah, with Diaby gone now, like the club showed like no, this is the guy.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah.
Yeah. Honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions, I didn't have any listed out, but just off the top of my head, Bernardo Silva was one that
Okay.
for me that you already mentioned. I think Jared Bowen has to be mentioned,
Okay.
but
Yeah,
he's
Bowen,
not.
I mentioned.
I think he's a step below these guys, but he's still
Yeah,
super good.
super good. Yeah, yeah. Bowen was my call out there.
Yeah, definitely not Garnacho. I I
I
can't
feel like he
stand.
plays on the left board too.
Does he?
I feel like he plays on both sides.
I don't know. I
He'll
feel
come
like
in
he
for
needs
Rashford
he
or
needs to play on the bench. That's what I think. Everyone loves that guy. I'm like, dude, he's not that good. I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's been the same old story with him.
Dude,
Just
they should sell him immediately. He's
yeah.
not. He's got a lot of value. I would sell him.
He's only 20 years old. Still.
Yeah,
It's
he's
crazy.
so young. I think that's part of the problem.
Yeah, he's actually listed as a left winger in
Okay.
transfer market,
Okay.
but maybe he has been played on the right more this year.
Um, okay, let's go to defensive midfielders. This one was really easy for me, except the 4-5 was a little difficult. But top three, I feel like we're gonna have the same top three, maybe in different order. I think Rodri has to be number one.
Has to be number one.
Number two, I have Bruno, Gamaris,
Mm.
Newcastle.
I have Declan Rice,
I have Declan Rice 3.
and I have Bruno third.
Okay, so there we go.
Yeah.
Here's where it gets interesting, I think. 4, who do you have?
So I don't know where to put this player. I ended up putting him here. I feel like he's like Bruno. He's like the slightly more offensive version of Bruno. But I have
Okay.
Paqueta here.
Okay. Yeah, I have him in the next category. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But he kind of, yeah, I see what you're saying. He's a difficult one. Especially with that.
He toes the line probably more than any other player. I feel like he'll wear number 10, which is attacking midfielder. But like
He doesn't play like a number 10.
he plays, yeah, it's very interesting. He's right on the line in my eyes. So I ended up putting him here.
Yeah. Okay, I put Basuma from Tottenham. This is
Okay.
This is one where I'm taking my shot at because I feel
I think he just had a down year and he's ready to pop back.
I think he was good when he played, but he was injured. He didn't play the full season, was in and out of the lineup. But when he's in there, I feel like Tottenham are such a better team. I like his style of play, especially for them. And I think I like his tenacity, and he's strong and quick. So I'm shooting my shot a little bit, thinking this year's going to be his year.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think he's a really good player. I feel like last year was just a struggle. So like I almost like didn't consider him, but yeah, I think he has the potential and the capability, like you said, to be there.
Yeah.
Would you go number 5?
I put Thomas Partey.
Oh, that's a surprise.
I think he's a really good player. He's gonna. I was shocked that he wasn't playing more last season.
Yeah.
They started playing him more down the stretch. I know he was injured, but I feel like he was just not a part of the squad for so long, and I didn't understand why. And I think
Yeah.
this year he is part of the squad, and I think he actually does a lot of things better than Rice does. And having those two guys in your midfield is incredible to have.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, he didn't even cross my mind. So, and I'm okay with it. I
Yeah.
just, I don't know. I think he has shown flashes, but this hasn't really been at the level in my eyes.
Yeah.
I went 19-year-old Kobe Mainu in 5th place.
Okay. Okay.
I think he's very good for his
He
age,
is really
and
good
like
for his age.
it's 19 years old.
I
He's
know.
starting on Man United. Like, and so the sky's the limit with this guy. Obviously, it's probably the most microscope of any team you could probably be on in the freaking world to be playing there in that position. But he seems up to it, man. Like, he seems like he has the ability, he has the mentality, and I don't see any reason why he should get any worse. He should only be getting better moving
Yeah.
forward.
Yeah. I think he needs just time. Time to
Mm-hmm.
time to grow, time to mature, get consistent. I think that's the only thing. He just lacks consistency because he's super young. But you're right.
Yeah.
He shows flashes of brilliance.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah, I like that pick.
And then I had an honorable mention shout out. We haven't seen this guy play much.
Tonali?
Tonali's coming back.
Dude, I wanted to put him on there.
I know. I put him in honorable mention, but like,
Yeah.
he could be in this top 5 list if he comes back the way he left.
Should be. If
Yeah.
he plays like he played for 3 games or whatever it was for them last
Yeah.
year.
100%.
Oh man. I can't wait. I want to see, because I had such high hopes for Newcastle coming into the last season. I just want to see that this year because we didn't get to see it. Okay.
Can you go into the attacking mids while I take a bathroom break? Thank you.
Yes. All right. I'm going to go into my attacking mids. I think the first one is easy and obvious. It's Kevin De Bruyne. I could talk about him for hours. He's so much better than everybody else at what he does, and what he does is just create goals. His vision, his passing, second to none. He can score when he needs to. He just always makes the right play. He's never flashy, just always gets the job done, whatever is needed. Like, he is the catalyst to that Manchester City offense, and just unlocks defenses with his passing. It's crazy. Number 2, I have Martin Odegaard, who just got injured on international break, which is a bummer. So Arsenal's going to be without him, but he does the same thing for Arsenal that Kevin De Bruyne does for Man City. Those are my 1-2 at the attacking center mid position, and I would be shocked if Torren doesn't have the same top 2. My next 3, 4, 5, I definitely took some liberties on this one. Number 3, he kind of plays defensive, but he shouldn't be. It's not really his position. So number 3, I have Alexis McAllister from Liverpool. I think he's so good. He was playing a little bit out of position last year, being defensive, more defensive, but now they have Gravenberch in there. He can be lifted a little bit of those duties. And I think he's fantastic. I think he is criminally underrated. I think he is a major reason why that Argentina team won the World Cup. And yet he doesn't get talked about like Enzo, who got like $120 million contract after that World Cup, even though he's better than Enzo. I think he's better than DePaul. He's
one of those players. I put him in that same category of when we mentioned like Ben White, where it's like he's so solid. Like,
he just does everything well.
Like, it's just like he can do whatever you need in the moment. Like, you feel like he's capable. You have confidence that he could do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
because he can.
So he made my honorable mention. He just didn't quite make the list here, but he's on my honorable mention.
I don't know if you were listening or you could hear me, but
I was
have
listening.
To have our top 2.
I have De Bruyne 1. I have a different number 2.
Really? Okay, let's hear it.
I love Odegaard. He's my number 3. I think Fernandez deserves to be at number 2.
Oh, boo,
He
boo.
deserves to be there.
Yeah, he's not. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, you're not a fan, but he deserves to be there. He's really second only to De Bruyne in a lot of the categories we've talked about. A
You're
lot of the
right on that.
stats, a
You're
lot of
right
the
on that.
creation. It's deserved. Like just like you, I'm not a fan, but I think he, after last season, he's just that little bit edge above Odegaard. I'd rather have Odegaard as my teammate. I'd rather have him as my captain.
Yeah.
I'd rather, everything about Odegaard. But performance-wise, I think he's just that little hair below.
Yeah, I just think Bruno is a luxury to have on a quality team, but he can't be your catalyst. He can't be your captain. If he's your best player, you're in trouble. Yeah, just something about I just don't think he's a complete player. That's all. But his passing, his vision, his willingness to play a through ball, to create a pass out of nothing, he can do better than anybody except De Bruyne.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. And that's what I'm looking for in this position, to be honest.
For sure. No. Yeah. So I have him in honorable mentions. He didn't make my top 5 because I hate him.
Okay. All right.
He's a wanker.
He's wanka. Yeah, so I had Odegaard 3. I think that's where you ended 3. I'll go with my 4th. I have Eze 4th.
Yes, I love it. I fucking love it, dude.
Yeah.
I wanted to do it, but I didn't. I couldn't. I have him just outside. He's so good though. Sorry, go ahead. Talk about him.
No, I think he's taking the leap. I mean, I think this is his year. Another pick, one of these picks, right? That's like springboarding into the year. Like this is his year to be the 4th.
Dude,
he's got the opportunity. Elise's gone. The team's on his back now. It's his opportunity to shine. He already has shown it a little bit early in the season, and I think he's going to thrive, man. He's ready for it.
He and Elise together were such a great compliment. They were lifting each other both up, and it was. I'm so mad we only got to see them for 7 matches.
I know, it really sucks. God, that would have been such a good year.
It would have been.
It would have been a legendary year. One of those, that would be a Streets Don't Forget year, 100%. It already is. The 7 games are Streets Don't Forget, 100%. Dude. But imagine a whole year of that.
I know, and I feel like he needs a running mate that can be flamboyant and creative along with him,
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have that now, and I want them to get somebody that can make some sick plays together. Like, oh my god, it was so cool to watch those two. I love that pick. I love that pick. But I went number 4. I went Madison.
Okay, I have him 5. Yeah,
I think Madison has his limitations, but kind of in the same vein as Bruno Fernandes, he can create passes, provide really good service off corner kicks, free kicks, everything. He just helps every other attacking player on Tottenham.
Yeah. No, it's a good point. I think you would look at those two players. It's a good comparison. What are they lacking? A little bit of athleticism, like the size and the explosive, speed and stuff like that. But they have skill in abundance. They have passing in abundance. And I think he's right there, like you said. Like, he creates so much. If you put the right team around him, which I think Tottenham has, he is primed to shine. Like, he just needs to put the ball in the right spot, and he's got players to do whatever, to run under the ball, go over the top, take a dink pass, coming off a set piece, whatever it is. Like, he's going to shine as long as he can stay healthy.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of those guys that always seems to find a way to get injured.
So what do you got? 5.
All right, you're gonna love this one.
Okay.
Mbomo, my boy.
Okay,
dude.
So he's an attacking mid. Okay,
he is to me.
I didn't know where to put him.
He's like I feel like he is an attacking mid, but especially with Tony there, he would kind of play off of Tony, like not quite a number 10, but kind of like the Wayne Rooney role. I saw him on the right side. I feel like this was a good place to put him. Number 5 in
Yeah,
my
I mean,
attack
he's actually
segment.
listed as a right winger. Interesting.
Yeah, he does play right wing, but he also
Yeah.
he played off Ivan
I put him at
Toney.
striker. I put him at striker. I was
Okay,
thinking
so
of him as a striker.
okay, yeah. Either way, the dude is insane. He's so
Yeah.
good. He
Yeah.
is. I feel like he's one of those guys that doesn't get enough shine, and I have no reason why that is.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the only person who thinks he's like
I mean, I think
next
I can
level
tell you
good.
why.
Why? Because he's on
Because
Brentford.
he was because he was right next to somebody on a Brentford team that was English and could just absorb all of the media attention about why that team is so good
Yeah,
with just a blind eye paid to the non-English players. I think that's exactly what happened. Like I think he's that good. You talk to a Brentford fan, they probably talk about him like that. But in the wider media, it was all about Tony. Even when Tony wasn't playing, it was all about Tony
yeah.
and nothing about him.
He's so good, dude. He's
He's
fast. He's
amazing.
strong on the ball.
Yeah.
He's got great dribbling skills. He can finish from anywhere. Like I could go on and on. I think he's insane. I think he's like I said. If I was a big club, I would be poaching him off Brentford.
Oh, 100%.
Like
100%.
I feel like he's a guy like Liverpool's probably going to lose Mo Salah next year.
Yeah.
You could just plug in Bomo, and he's not going to be Mo Salah. No one's going to be Mo Salah.
Yeah.
But he would plug right into that Liverpool system and flourish. I feel like he's at that level of he could play almost anywhere in the world. I do think he's that.
No, you want to see him get that opportunity. Like you feel like that's I feel the same way, right? I feel that way. And you just want to see it happen, It's like give him the opportunity because
Yeah.
like I feel like he could do it, Like let's see it.
Yeah. But right now he's balling out at Brentford. And maybe
And they
he's
need
not-
it now.
Yeah.
With Tony gone,
Yeah.
This might be his year to springboard. Yeah.
Yeah. So he was my number 5. Okay, so who'd you go with number 5 then?
I had Madison.
Okay.
Yeah, because I had SA4. Yeah. And
Yeah.
I had McAllister as my honorable mention.
And I should have had Paqueta in there, but I kind of left him off because I
Like I
also
said, he's right in that line.
I wasn't
man.
sure
It's
where
so
to put
tough.
him either. Yeah,
I
so
know.
yeah, he kind of got left out, no fault of his own, but
Yeah.
kind of our positional.
Right in that line. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
Striker?
strikers. I feel like this one tougher than I thought, but
It
I
was.
still have Haaland and Ollie Watkins 1-2.
I bumped down Watkins one.
You did? Is that
I
based
did.
off his slow start this year?
Yeah, it
Okay.
is.
See, I didn't watch this.
No,
slow
coming
start.
into the season, it's a clear 1-2. Yeah.
Yeah. So
But,
I haven't
yeah,
been watching, so I'm
Yeah.
assuming Ollie Watkins is just he'll find his form and he'll be fine by the end of the year.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. I mean, especially based off last year, that would be the right spot for him. But I put him 3. I put Isak in at 2. I love Isak.
Yeah.
Just his approach to the game, and Watkins does so much stuff. Isak to me is more like a true striker. Like Isak Watkins, right, created so many assists as well as goals last year, right? He was like him and Palmer were like 1-2, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Isak is like, I need somebody to go score me a freaking goal. Isak,
Well, Watkins did that also.
Not this year though.
It's only
So
3
fun.
games. It's only 3 games.
I know.
But yeah.
I know, but
No, I'm with you on Isak. I have him 3rd, so he's my 3rd.
Mhm.
So we have the same top 3.
nice.
4.
Where'd you go for?
Now, I know he hasn't been playing, but I put Nunez 4. I still think Nunez has what it takes to
Yep.
be the 4th best striker in the league.
He's on my list too, and very much fighting for 4th. I just slipped him into 5th.
Okay. But he hasn't been playing. The new coach
hasn't, I
hasn't been
know.
playing him.
But he's that good. And from like whether it's just the Newcastle game last year or whatever, like he is a game changer. Like
He is.
he's just one of those guys that can do the unimaginable. and there's not a lot of people that are like that.
Elite speed, finishing that is intermittent but can be deadly.
I mean, it could be the best you've ever seen or the worst you've ever seen.
Yeah, he's such a
It's
weird
almost like
player. He's such a weird player.
it's almost finishing like a Usman Dembele, but with a much better player around it. You know, it's like
Yeah, it's hard for me to find a comparison to him, but
Mhm.
yeah, I hope he
Yeah,
can figure it out. I feel like when he gets hot, it's scary.
yeah. It feels like there's going to be a time this season where like he becomes the guy. I
But
mean,
yeah,
it's just
I mean, Jota, he's another guy that can't stay healthy for more than 2 months.
yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
sure he'll go down soon, and then Nunez will be forced into the lineup.
yeah. So I have him fifth. I just above him put another player who's not playing,
Solanke.
but no, Hoyland.
Oh, I like it.
I think Hoyland's very good. I mean, he had a crazy stretch last year where he scored like 6 weeks in a row or something. He was just on fire. Still so young. I think he has like when he's on, I think he could be more consistent than a Nunez. Maybe not as flashy, right, or the peaks and valleys, but
Hmm.
in terms of consistency, I think he'll deliver when he's healthy, and hopefully he'll be back soon and ready to deliver. But yeah, I mean, I think for the age he is and how he played last year at that age, the sky's the limit for him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's also got a Garnacho problem, um,
Yeah.
and hopefully that gets resolved. But I do like him. I do like him. But I put Solanke in my fifth spot.
Okay. No, I like that. Yeah. Obviously another injury, which sucks, but
I had to give him his flowers for last year, and he got the Tottenham contract, but I want him to play, man. It sucks that he got injured, like you said.
I
Like, it
know, man.
sucks. You just
I
want to
was
see
set
it.
up for him.
He's going to be like
Yeah.
Harry
I,
Kane light.
I know. Like the way he played last year, if he could be like 75% of that, it's gonna be amazing.
Exactly.
You know?
And he's going to get so much better chances at Tottenham.
Yeah.
All
Awesome.
right,
I
so
like it.
strikers, Haaland, Watkins, Isak, Nunez, Solanke for me.
Hallen, Isak, Watkins, Hoyland, Nunez for me.
Okay. All right. Now you take me through your coaches, and
Yeah.
I'll on the fly come up with mine.
Yeah, I mean, you have to start with Pep. It's
Yeah.
a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's got to be number one. I put Arteta number two. I think those two are just you got to do it with the way the last two seasons went. I have
Agreed.
Postecoglou third.
Oh, okay. See,
I
I
think he's a
would.
great.
Sorry, go ahead.
I just think he's a great coach. I still think he's still like getting sort of the reins on this Tottenham team. I feel like the way his approach is, it takes a little bit of time. But for like what he does towards the media and what he does towards the players, I just love everything about his approach.
I would go Unai Emery third.
Oh, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
I think his track record speaks for itself. To get Villa where he's gotten Villa is insane.
Okay.
So I'm going to put him third for me, and then I'll put Postecoglou second. Fourth.
Fourth. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I have Eddie Howe fourth.
Okay. I do like Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I do like Eddie Howe.
Yeah.
I like his style. I could put Eddie Howe fifth. Let me think on the fly. I'm not thinking of anybody. I would. I want to see what Slot does with Liverpool.
He already made my top five. He's
But
in
it-
my fifth slot.
Okay, it's
Slot.
hard. It's
Slot's in my fifth slot.
nice. Yeah, but there's just not enough there for me to put him there. But I'm eager to wait. And then obviously Sean Dyche, our boy, has to be mentioned. We love him.
Yeah, my honorable mentions is Thomas Frank from Brentford. I think he's a great coach.
What about your boy Sean O'Neill?
Gary O'Neill.
Gary O'Neill. Sorry, that's Sean Dyche.
Not
I was
a good-
thinking Sean Dyche.
Not a good start to the year for them. But
No,
he
but
was my
they-
honorable mention last year.
Dude, their roster is just not good enough.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, tough. No, I feel like Thomas Frank is just kind of flown under the radar, but I think he's a very good tactical coach, and it kind of just gets not thought about in
No,
the Premier
yeah.
League.
Another Brentford, man. because
Yeah.
that Brentford team is like invisible.
Yeah, but Arne Slot, so I have him in fifth. To come into the situation he's coming into and for it to have started the way it started, like he's just made every single right move when it comes to how he, approaches the media, the fans, how he approached building the team we talked about last time, right? About not ruffling too many feathers, like
Mm-hmm.
finding the right little things to tweak. Like he's just handled it immaculately in my eyes. So he was already just how he's navigated this first part of the season and the off season already in my eyes a top five. Like he's done everything the right way
I'm with
from
you on
from
that.
the
I'm with.
beginning of his tenure.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Marco Silva is another coach that
Yeah, I like him.
um, always flies under the radar because he's a mid-table team, but
Yeah.
um, I think he's a solid coach.
I
Fulham's
think he
always
gets the
looking good.
best.
Yeah.
He gets the best out of what he has,
Yep.
like, and that's the sign of a great coach.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So those are our top fives. This is nice.
Awesome.
Let's do our picks real quick because
All right.
I gotta go to bed soon
All right.
so I can go to work tomorrow. Uh,
Same.
I did my picks. I always do my picks without looking at the lines, but let's go through the lines. I don't want the lines to influence my decisions.
Same. I did not look at the lines. Yeah.
So I'll drop the odds as we go here. The first match of the weekend is Southampton at home for Manchester United. Southampton is plus 340 for a win. Manchester United minus 135 favorite. I picked a 2-0 Man United win, and I don't feel confident about it, even though it's Southampton.
I mean, Southampton's looked pretty bad to start. I went 3-1. I feel like Man U's just defensively, whatever they're doing just isn't working right now. So I feel like they're always vulnerable to the odd goal, but it's still the same as your 2-goal victory.
Yeah. Okay. Brighton at home against Ipswich. Brighton minus 280. Ipswich plus 650 on the road. I think Brighton roll on this one. They've looked really strong to start the year, so I'm going to go 3-0 Brighton.
I went 3-1. Same story. I think like they're vulnerable to the odd goal, but they're going to be commanding on the offensive side.
Yeah. Okay, Crystal Palace at home for Leicester. Crystal Palace minus 165 favorite. Leicester plus 420. I picked 2-1 Crystal Palace win.
Okay, I went 2-2 draw here.
Okay.
I think Crystal Palace has had some struggles to start the year. Leicester, I feel like in dire need of a result. I think they have one draw in the year so far, and I feel like it's going to be a real
that
tough
draw.
battle.
They were not. They should not have gotten a point for that. Performance
exactly.
either. Yeah, that's why I picked Crystal Palace. Not because Crystal Palace look good, but just because Leicester have not looked like a Premier League side to me.
Yeah,
thus far. So
still getting their feet.
Yeah. Next one. This is a coin. Yeah. Okay. The line's exactly what I did. Fulham is at home against West Ham. Plus 140 for Fulham to win. Plus 190 for a West Ham win. Plus 245 for a draw. I picked a 1-1 draw. I feel like this has got draw written all over it.
Damn. I went 3-1 West Ham here.
Really? Okay, so you got strong feelings for West Ham winning.
So, I mean, West Ham has come in to the season with probably the best roster they've ever had. Obviously, a new coach. You got to get through the initial growing pains, figuring out where you're going to play. But there's got to be a week here where, like, West Ham's roster just shows out. And I feel like this is the week. Like, they should be beating this team by 2 goals with what they have on paper.
On the road, though, is tough.
Doesn't matter where. Look at their roster, man.
They do have a good team.
Yeah.
They do have a good team. Okay.
Doesn't matter where.
I like it. Well, let's flag that one for a potential bet because that's plus 190. And we got our boy Blake going to Vegas tomorrow. So we're going to get some bets in. Yes, sir.
Let's go.
All right, next up we have Liverpool at home for Nottingham Forest. Oh man, Nottingham Forest plus
Sorry.
1,000 for a win, plus 1,000 for a Nottingham Forest win at Anfield.
Ouch.
That's crazy. And then Liverpool minus 435 for a win.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
heavy
Liverpool
favorites.
3-0.
I went 3-1. I gave Nottingham a pity goal, but I doubt it happens. Next up, we have Manchester City at home against Brentford. They have, wow, minus 575. Brentford plus 1,200. This is longer odds than the Liverpool matchup. I think Brentford's got more of a chance than Nottingham Forest does. But that's the power of Man City, I guess.
Yeah.
Having said that, I went 2-1 Man City win.
Yeah, I went 3-1. But I mean, a plus 700 for a draw.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean, you never know.
I'm not scared of that one. You get 8x your money on a draw, and of all like the lower teams that you would think of, Brentford's the one I would
I
put at the
mean,
top of that list.
I'm down to take a long
threaten
shot on
for
that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, not a bad idea.
yeah,
All right, Aston Villa at home against Everton. Aston Villa is favored minus 195 for the win. Everton plus 475. Everton have looked bad. The fact that Villa is minus 195, honestly, to me is low.
yeah.
I picked a
Mhm.
I picked a 2-0 victory for Villa.
Same. Just a easy controlled victory 2-0.
They should cruise in this. They really should.
Yeah.
Vibes at Everton could not be lower.
It's just after that last game, man. It's just ugh. Though I feel like the one good thing for them is this week off to like
Oh yeah.
let's put that in the past. Let's reset. This is a new season now. Let's move forward, So that might be the only positive for them coming into this.
But then they have to go to Villa. Like that,
God,
it's not easy
ouch.
to play there.
Yeah.
Okay, Bournemouth are hosting Chelsea. Even odds for Chelsea win. Bournemouth plus 240. This is a tough one. I feel like this could go either way. Bournemouth is a professional team, but
Yeah.
Chelsea have looked pretty dangerous.
Mhm.
I actually picked Chelsea to win 2-1 on the road.
I went 3-1 Chelsea.
Okay.
Even odds. I like this.
I like that too. I do. And I hate putting my faith in Chelsea, but
Yeah.
they should
Chelsea
win
it
this.
is.
Yeah, Chelsea it is. And then here we go. Match of the weekend, without a doubt. Tottenham Hotspur at home against an Odegaardless Arsenal. Tottenham are the underdogs at home, plus 215. I like that. Arsenal plus 120. If you're an Arsenal fan, getting plus odds anywhere is a good sign. And then a draw is plus 265. I actually pushed out on my picks, and I went 2-2 draw on this.
I went 2-2 draw.
Oh my God, we can't pick the same thing. Damn it. Okay, I do like the bet for a Tottenham win, though, because I feel like Tottenham, even though they haven't been getting the results, have been playing well. Arsenal is really good, but without Odegaard, I could see them struggling to create some chances.
Yeah, you're getting above plus 200 odds. That's worthy
at
of
home. At home.
Yeah.
I like
do
that.
like that.
And
Yeah.
Blake's going to be in on that.
Yeah, he's down for that one.
he's gonna be betting a lot on it.
Be all over that one.
Oh my God, this line is crazy to me. Okay, Wolves at home against Newcastle plus 230 for Wolves to win, plus 110 for a Newcastle win. Getting plus odds there, I feel like, is stealing. I picked a 3-0 Newcastle win.
I went 3-1.
Wolves have looked horrible. Absolutely horrible. Dude, heavy up on that one for me.
Yeah. No, I like that. I maybe not as down on Wolves as you are, but I feel like they definitely played well in stretches, especially last week. But yeah, I mean, Newcastle's just at a different level.
On paper, this should not be a game. I don't care
plus
if
odds
it's in
for a
Wolverhampton.
Newcastle team. I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, and it kills me to say it. You know, I'm a huge Wolves fan. That was the
Yeah.
no, it was the second stadium I ever went to. Uh, but yeah, getting plus odds there, I want in on that.
Yeah, love it. Okay. We got a handful there. We got 4 bets down. We'll do one last look through if there's any over unders.
Yeah, the over unders I didn't shout out, but
Yeah.
yeah, nothing really catching my eye. I feel like it's difficult for me to get a grasp on these teams
Yeah.
this early in the season as far as goal scoring. I feel like
I feel like all the over unders are like at a fair number. There's nothing that jumps out as, "Ooh, I like that."
yeah, if I had to pick one, it would. I don't feel confident about it, but I would do the Manchester United Southampton under. But I don't feel confident about it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. We got a handful though.
Yeah, I
That's
think we
good.
got some good ones. I mean, I want my number one with a bullet is Newcastle plus 110. I kind of want to put that on everything. Do like a Newcastle alone bet for me, and then maybe parlay it with like a, I don't know, a Villa win at home, or even a Chelsea win on the road could be juicy. I don't
Villa
know. What
at
do you
home.
think?
Villa at home would make it plus 215. Um, where was Chelsea at?
Or if you like your West Ham plus 190, that's a good one too. I'd be down to get in on that.
Plus 320 if we go Chelsea, and then West Ham would make it plus 500.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
All right, West Ham, Newcastle. All right, I like that.
Yeah, and then a Newcastle solo bet for sure. And then a Tottenham bet at plus 215 at home. We got to get in on that. Especially since Blake is buying the tickets, I feel like
Yeah,
that's got to be good juju.
yeah, of course, coming from him.
Um, what else caught your eye? Anything else you want to get in on?
Nothing else really caught my eye. Yeah, none of the like. I usually like looking at the over unders, but nothing jumps out there. I feel like we're already taking kind of a long shot.
What
A
about
couple
the? Do you
longer
want to
shots.
try the plus 700 draw for Brentford, or is
Oh,
that
it's
just?
I already got it down.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I got $10 on that, a light one,
Yeah,
but
nothing up, nothing
yeah,
crazy, because
yeah,
it's a long shot for sure.
definitely a long shot. But that's probably one of the highest draw odds I've seen for a team that legitimately is capable. Like
Sure.
the draw odds for that are higher than the draw odds for Liverpool. Who was it? Liverpool,
Yeah. Liverpool,
Nottingham
Nottingham
Forest.
Forest.
It's
Yeah,
crazy to me. Like,
it doesn't make sense.
yeah,
It's just because Man City at home, it's
yeah,
it's tough to do there. I mean, Ake is out, but that's, I mean, they'll plug in
wasn't
Kyle
even wasn't
Walker.
even playing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, it's not gonna matter. Yeah, there's the only other one I like am maybe interested in is where'd it go? Yeah, even that. Now I was thinking maybe like a long shot parlay, but
hmm
I don't feel confident with many of the long shots. I was thinking maybe like if you wanted to go Leicester and like a Bournemouth or something like that, but I just don't like. I don't feel confident in Leicester
yeah.
right now.
It's the long shots are always tough with the like. They're gonna be happy. They're gonna be happy with a draw. You know, and that's where it's like, they might be good enough to win on that day, but they're going to be the team that settles for a draw, So
Yeah,
that's always tough from that perspective.
I yeah yeah exactly. I don't feel confident about many of those. All right, I think we got a good list
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I think we
We
got it.
don't need to push it.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. All right, man.
All right.
Well, next week let's do it all again. Who knows what day? Tuesday,
Yeah, we
Thursday.
finally got soccer back to watch this weekend. It's gonna be I'm so excited. We got NFL and Premier League. It's gonna be a great weekend. I'm stoked.
Yeah, I won't watch any NFL, but I will watch Premier League.
Man, missing out. Let's get on that red zone.
No, I'm not missing out. I've been there. I've watched it my whole life, and let me tell you, I don't miss it. I do. I still follow. Like I like following it in a
Yeah,
sense to where like I like listening about it in the podcasts and on
yeah.
like talk radio or TV or something. Like
Hmm.
I find it interesting, but watching the games I don't miss. I really don't. I also don't have like a 12-hour Sunday that I can
Yeah,
just do whatever I want anymore. And that's okay.
that might be the main factor that we glossed over. But yeah,
And the fact that my team was ripped away from me,
yeah.
and
No, I
now
mean,
I could care less about these other teams.
I feel you.
Yeah.
But I'll be watching and I'll be having a
Hey, you
blast.
enjoy yourself. You have a
Yeah,
great Sunday. I will be watching Premier League. Hopefully,
that sounds great. That sounds great too. So
hopefully
I think we're both gonna have a
cashing
good
in our
time.
bets too.
Let's make it happen, man.
All right, man.
This is the week.
All
All right.
right. Well, until next time. Cheers.
See you next week. Cheers.